Entire towns are cut off, 63,000 homes are without power, and military helicopters will be used to evacuate those hardest hit from Cyclone Debbie. And that's not even the worst of it. We saw today how the damage in North Queensland is so devastating and widespread. Some people have been left wondering whether it's even worth rebuilding. Claire Barnes is at Airlie Beach for us tonight. Claire, we can barely see you, so clearly things are still pretty rotten there.
Yeah, well, that's right, Sandra. There are still very gusty conditions and very humid here at Airlie Beach at the moment. What is continuing to stall recovery here is the power is still out. Certain areas are without running water and some telecommunication networks are still down. So there is a level of frustration among locals. What residents are saying to us is just how long Cyclone Debbie unleashed on the Whitsundays. More than 24 hours of these destructive winds and heavy rain, devastating a part of the country famous for its natural beauty. The aftermath of Debbie's relentless onslaught, a powerful system that struck the heart of Shute Harbour.
Probably the worst one I've ever seen. Yeah, it was just so long.
Dozens of luxury boats run aground, ripped from their moorings and thrown on top of each other.
Catastrophic would probably be the best way to describe it, I think.
Well, the majority of them will be write-offs. All these boats here, as you see here, they're hulled and they're just horrendous.
Many boaties still unsure if their vessels survived the storm.
I've got a small ship anchored up there and I'm just waiting for someone to tell me it's safe or not safe.
Across the tourist town, the cyclone left a trail of debris and damage. Ashley Henschel's home flooded. His young family only recently moved here.
It was pretty daunting, you know, with the two little ones all bunkered down in one room. We had all the neighbours' stuff come flying over. Just everything was missiles. It's our first cyclone. I don't ever want to go through one again. Not the kids, no.
His neighbour Ruben could only watch as the roof was torn off his house.
The whole roof is gone. On the back, a lot of glass. The whole garage is totally broken. Another glass there, the whole house there is a lot of water inside.
In the city's centre, business owners returned to take stock of what's left.
Really anxious and really quite nervous and scared about it all. But I got a good team. We'll all clean it up together.
It'll be some time before pubs are buzzing again, while the main shopping centre needs major repairs. At this hotel right on the water, this area here was the restaurant. Every room has been damaged. The owner doubts he'll reopen.
I don't think so. I think that's it. It's done damage. So.
At the height of Cyclone Debbie, an unexpected arrival. A little girl delivered at the Cannonvale ambulance station just after 4 o'clock this morning. Her parents had nowhere else to go after flooded roads left no chance of reaching a hospital in time.
We were completely cut off by the floodwaters, so we thought we could come back to the ambulance station and provide the best care possible here, which I believe we did.
All over town now, work begins to bring Airlie Beach back to life. Despite damage to their own properties, many locals have already begun pitching in where they can.
Well, the SES are going to take weeks to do this, so we thought we might as well chip in and help out. Nothing else we can really do, is there?
I got a lot of damage at home, and we just we'll leave that and try to get these roads open and help out how we can, hey? So.
And they'll need plenty more of it in a region facing a long recovery. And Sandra, while the region has suffered extensive damage, we are being urged that if you have booked a holiday to the Whitsundays in the future, to still stick with your plans, because the residents and businesses here will need all the support they can get.
Certainly tough times ahead. Claire Barnes, thank you. Well, if she hasn't done enough harm, Debbie now seems intent on delivering one last punch before she crawls off into history. Flooding is now a real threat, and it extends all the way down to New South Wales. Here's Christina Costa.
Disaster is already here. More than half of Mackay is without power and running out of fresh water.
We are having some problems with our water treatment plants at the moment. Power is one of them, but we can't pump water out of the river because the river is in such a turbulent state.
That river is the Pioneer. It's rising quickly and the subject of a major flood warning. the Premier wasted no time heading to the disaster zone. Surveying the damage from the tropical cyclone she labelled a monster.
There's lots of trees down, there's fences down. We've seen the impact of roofs being blown off people's houses.
First stop was Bowen, where close to 300 residents spent the night in a shelter.
Felt a lot safer than what I would at home.
The big movers were out at first light as homeowners returned to discover their fears realised.
The wind's just gone over a high-pitched roof, just sucked the roof right off here. So everything inside is wet.
Rena reached 148 kilometres an hour, strong enough to sink cruisers. And flipping this light plane, roofs proved to be the most common casualty.
I mean, that's the most wind we've had off a cyclone yet, that's for sure. We're watching all the trees bend right over and you could see flying debris flying around.
There are significant risks and hazards around the streets. Roads flooded, if it is flooded, forget it.
A warning some chose to ignore. Authorities are asking the public to avoid driving and leave roads clear for them. But in rain this strong, they're travelling blind. Emergency agencies are attempting another approach. One of the Navy's landing ships is on its way with hundreds of tonnes of supplies and equipment.
It's about clearing that debris. It's about helping people. I've got a medical team on board. I have a diving team on board.
Reaching the Whitsundays is a priority. The first places hit, the islands may be the last to receive help. Daydream Island is running out of water and it's still too dangerous to evacuate around 400 guests.
We've got a big area of people that we have to consider. We'll have to triage in terms of where we need to go.
Tracking inland overnight, Debbie took one final swipe at the mining town of Collinsville before being downgraded to a tropical low at 3 a.m. That doesn't mean the danger has passed.
We have a flood watch that now covers much of Queensland from Ayr to the New South Wales border.
But amongst the devastation and lasting danger, a story of fresh hope. Little Billiana delivered at Collinsville Ambulance Station. Not even a tropical cyclone could stop her. In Bowen, Christina Castalis, 10 Eyewitness News.
Well, a team of emergency personnel from New South Wales and the ACT has arrived in North Queensland. The group of mostly veteran firefighters left Sydney Airport this morning. Many have worked in disaster zones before and will be assessing homes and buildings for structural damage. Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull says the government is also doing all it can to help.
Nature has flung her worst at the people of North Queensland, and it's now our job to make sure that every agency pulls together, and indeed the private sector, particularly the banks and insurance companies.
More than 1,000 emergency and defence personnel are involved in the recovery operation. The state government was trying to be a good guy today, offering cash incentives